The world's video games market is said to be worth more than music and film combined, a total of $184 billion. More than 3 billion people worldwide play video games. It's a massive market, and Scotland is one of the world's leading innovators in this sector. Some of the world's best-selling video games of all time have emerged from Scotland, most famously the action-adventure video game Grand Theft Auto, or GTA, as it's more commonly known today. Grand Theft Auto was first created by DMA Design, a company founded in 1988 by David Jones in his home city of Dundee. Jones had been made redundant from the local Timex watch factory, which closed down a few years later, and used his severance pay to buy an Amiga personal computer. In 1991, DMA Design created its first video game for Amiga PCs called Lemmings. It is Lemmings that launched the Scottish games industry in Dundee, although DMA's massively successful follow-up, Grand Theft Auto, launched 6 years later, not only revolutionised video games, but went on to be one of the most successful games ever produced, securing Scotland's place in the global video games market. For many years, Dundee had been known for its three Js: jute, jam and journalism. And whilst the jute mills have fallen silent and the jam industry has almost been consigned to history, Dundee remains a major hub of gaming innovation in the UK. The development of Grand Theft Auto initially started out as a game titled Race and Chase, in which the player controlled a police officer pursuing criminals. Considered a little too tame, developers at DMA turned the concept on its head and had players as the criminals with the freedom to play however they wanted, with plenty of action thrown in. That included a fair amount of fictional lawlessness and violence too, ensuring that the launch of Grand Theft Auto was controversial back in the day, with a media frenzy attacking the game with headlines predicting an explosion of delinquency, violence and car crime. But, says Scottish gaming expert and industry recruiter Gavin Divers, the controversy catapulted Grand Theft Auto into one of the world's most successful games of all time.
But not to say that it wasn't controversial. I mean, to put it in the context, you could kill police, you could steal cars, you could kill anybody, you could drive tanks and flatten everybody. So it certainly had its controversy, but it was given a gentle nudge by DMA Design to get that whirlwind going. Sold about 1 million copies in its first year, amassing about £5 million in revenue, and becoming the biggest game of the planet at that time, primarily on the PlayStation and PC. We hadn't moved on to Xbox at this point.
The original GTA is made up of 6 levels, split between 3 main fictional cities in the United States, each based on real cities. The game quickly became a bestseller, and by November 1998, global shipments of Grand Theft Auto's computer and PlayStation versions had surpassed 1 million units combined. By October 1999, it had sold 3.5 million units, and by March 2001, 6 million. Shortly afterwards, DMA Design was sold to Take-Two, which bought the publisher and the game's intellectual property, and integrated DMA Design and Rockstar Games in 1998, creating Rockstar Studios in Edinburgh, renamed Rockstar North a few months later. And despite Rockstar Games being headquartered in New York, Grand Theft Auto is still developed in Edinburgh to this day. Rockstar Games soon released the follow-up Grand Theft Auto 2 in October 1999 for PlayStation and Windows. And whilst it received mixed reviews, it was still a moderate commercial success. But it was the launch of Grand Theft Auto 3, the first Grand Theft Auto game to be fully presented in 3D, that reignited the GTA brand. It went on to become the best-selling video game of 2001, and among the best-selling PlayStation 2 games ever, with more than 14.5 million copies sold overall. Lemmings launched the Scottish games industry in 1991, and GTA consolidated Scotland's position as a leader in the video games sector, leading to Abertay University in Dundee, setting up specialised game development courses.
So the beginning of the Scottish games industry was quite a small group of individuals based in Dundee who all knew each other and came together for their love of coding. So consoles like Commodore, Atari, Amiga would be the kind of platforms that they would use to code their original games. And the first big game that came out of Scotland would be Lemmings in the early 90s. Sold about 50 million copies and put Scotland, and DMA Design was the company that made it, put them on the gaming map, and that was the beginning of gaming in Scotland. And then from the back of Lemmings, DMA Design then moved on to the world epic franchise that is Grand Theft Auto in 1997. Also at the same time, Abertay University was launched in Dundee. Abertay University is still world renowned for its game development courses and is fundamental to the games industry. So at that point there was other companies coming around, like 4G Studios, Outplay Entertainment, Denke, Ruffian Games, all coming out with their own game-changing games. But it really was Grand Theft Auto that launched in 1987 that blew Scotland's lid off.
But GTA didn't just blow Scotland's lid off. The game, despite predictions to the contrary, has continued to captivate the gaming world and remains a huge presence today, with the much anticipated launch of GTA 6 expected to be released in autumn this year. If Grand Theft Auto 5 is anything to go by, sales of GTA 6 should go off the charts. Launched in September 2013, Grand Theft Auto 5 set new records in the gaming industry.
And the behemoth that is Grand Theft Auto 5 still standing, and we're still waiting for Grand Theft Auto 6. It sold a whopping 17 million copies in its first day, making $1 billion in its first 3 days. To put that into context, it took Avengers Endgame 5 days to make $1 billion, it took Grand Theft Auto 3 days, making it the biggest media sellout of its time.
Scotland's best known exports are whisky and salmon, but what most people don't know is that the country's games industry is one of Scotland's biggest exports, says Gavin Divers.
To tie into a nice wee bow and to discuss what that means to Scotland. So the games industry is one of Scotland's biggest exports, just under whisky, which is phenomenal. And it'll always go from strength to strength. There's nothing stopping Scottish game developers making masterpieces. We do have some struggles with regards to funding. We do fall through a lot of gaps with regards to, are we an art form? What are we? But we all band together. We're a very close community in the Scottish games industry. We have a yearly event, Scottish Games Week, with the Scottish Games Awards. That's usually a yearly event that is in multiple cities over 1 week, like Glasgow, Stirling and Edinburgh. And it's a beautiful thing to be part of the Scottish games industry, because we're all quite like family and we all band together for the common good of providing gamers with quality entertainment.
So, what of the future? With a new generation of technological advances, including the metaverse and AI, there are real challenges facing Scotland, not least because of its inability as part of the UK to invest some of Scotland's own massive resources into its own industries. In a recent announcement by the UK Chancellor Rachel Reeves as part of the Labour government's Kickstart initiative, she unveiled plans to create Europe's Silicon Valley between Oxford and Cambridge in the south of England, completely ignoring Scotland for any investment, despite Scotland's excellent track record in science and technological advances. Improvements to infrastructure in this part of England will add up to £78 billion being spent there, a significant proportion of which will have been raised from the revenues from Scotland's resources and tax take. This is almost certainly a disadvantage to Scotland's ability to maximise its full potential in innovation and technology. Nevertheless, in terms of the development of gaming videos, Gavin Divers is optimistic that with such an innovative sector in Scotland, another big hit like GTA is on the cards.
But when will the next Grand Theft Auto come around, I hear you ask? Well, it's a perfect storm. You have the best university studying, teaching developers with Abertay. You've got some of the best developers, programmers and industry legends in the country. And at the end of the day, we're just a bunch of geeks that just like to create magic. An interesting environment we live in, moving on to the metaverse, which is a virtual reality land, and there are lots of companies competing, trying to be the one that creates the main virtual land, like Sony and Microsoft and Google. So I could see that potentially we'll be moving into that environment soon, maybe in the next 5 years, who knows. And of course, there's a bit of an uphill struggle with regards to AI. AI is up and coming, and what does that look like for the games industry? But with the strong talent we've got and the continued talent that's been generated, I see it being only a matter of time before we create the next big hit.
Whilst GTA's presence on the world's gaming stage since the 1990s has been massive, Scotland has developed a raft of successful video games, including BAFTA award-winning sci-fi game Observation, developed by Glasgow-based No Code, the winner of 3 Scottish Games Awards, Cloudpunk, the action-adventure game Crackdown, and puzzle games Fogs and Viewfinder. Other games include Strange Sickness, Monster Legacy, Candy Blast and Angry Birds Pop. So what makes a good game?
It's important to understand a game is an interactive movie, and you become invested because you play it for so long, you become the character. And there's a lot of games that the narrative will change all based on your decisions, so you can get different endings. Grand Theft Auto, the Red Dead Redemption 2, the one I just mentioned, has 4 different endings depending what kind of cowboy you were, the same as Grand Theft Auto. And the reason I would say that Grand Theft Auto is so successful is because it's been Scottish people trying to make an American environment. So it's almost like a hyper-real American environment where I don't think if it was made by Americans they'd do it as good a justice. It's almost like Scottish people looking into American culture, and they could make it a wee bit hyper-real compared to if Americans done it.
People of all ages, genders, races, and socioeconomic backgrounds play video games. In fact, video game playing has become more mainstream, and gamers are increasingly more similar to the general population as a whole. So it's an industry that will continue to flourish, and, believes Gavin Divers, Scotland will continue to be influential in this sector.
Scotland's influence in the global games industry knows no bounds. With its innovation and its creativity, there's generally no stopping it.
If you've enjoyed this video, hit the bell icon to be notified of new releases from the Scotland channel, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. For more information about truly independent Scottish media, visit our website thescotlandchannel.tv, where you can also find great Scotland Channel merch in our online shop. Become a friend of the Scotland Channel today. For details, visit our website thescotlandchannel.tv/friends. And catch up with other great films at youtube.com/@thescotlandchannel.
If you run a business in Scotland and are looking for a cost-effective way to promote your business to our fast-growing audience, then the Scotland Channel is for you. We offer several great ways to promote your business on our truly Scottish channel. These include film sponsorships, having a film made specifically about your business, or advertising on our website. The advantage of sponsoring a film or having a film made specifically about your business is that the film remains on the channel indefinitely, giving your business exposure specifically on the Scotland Channel and on YouTube, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, year after year at no extra cost. What's more, we'll even create a shorter version of the film for you to use on your website or as an additional promotional tool for your business. So whether you are a home-based business, a small guest house or larger hotel, restaurant, gift shop, jewellery maker, or a larger business operating anywhere in Scotland, advertising on the Scotland Channel allows you to reach growing audiences across Scotland and the world, showcasing your goods and services nationally and internationally. So, no matter what type of business you run, or how large or small it is, so long as it is based in Scotland, the Scotland Channel creates the perfect way to be in front of your target audience indefinitely. Find out more about advertising on the Scotland Channel today. Email us at info@scotland24.tv or call us on 07578 215 076 today.